the company or the family foundation thought they could do something for the community during the Lent period in Israel, and also mobilize many people to come into 3 areas: thinking good, speaking good, and doing good. Because doing good is good business, according to them. So in Kenya, we joined in 2017, and we already a consortium. So we found these people and we partnered as a consortium, Volunteer Involving Organizations Society Kenya. This is an umbrella bringing more than 40 organizations working with volunteers in Kenya. That is the United Nations Volunteers, Kenya Red Cross, VSO, and many others, more than 40. So we work in partnership, very close partnership with the State Department for Social Protection, because Executive Order number 2 of 2023 puts volunteerism under social development. So that makes us have a home in the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. So during our work with the State Department on building policies and legal infrastructures to create enabling environment for volunteerism to thrive, we got good deeds to be one of the main activities or main events that we carry out yearly, annually. So since 2017, we have been celebrating Good Deeds Day in Kenya.
So is it about a religious calendar thing? Because you mentioned Lent.
In Israel, they did it during the Lent period because that period is the period that Israel is a very religious country. So during that period, when they started, they didn't have the idea that it will go global. They were just looking at Israel. But then during the Lent period is the period that many people are inclined to do good, to be nice, and all that. So they used that period to bring the good deeds. But later on, it went global, and up to last year, Good Deeds Day in number says this year we are expecting to mobilize about 15 million volunteers across the world to celebrate and do something. Yes.
So, Tasmin, what are the core values and objectives of Good Deeds Day?
I think we have partnered with Good Deeds Day because we at Renegade Air, we're a regional airline. We operate into East and Central Africa, and we're always looking for organizations like VIO to partner with so that we can have our CSR activities for the year. And since they're having a tree planting session happening tomorrow, we said what better way than to give back to the environment. And we partner with a lot of other NGOs and organizations and do a lot of other CSR activities. We also have got new low carbon emission aircrafts as a way to mitigate and give back to the environment. And that's the reason why we have decided to partner with VIO this year.
Quite interesting, because now I want to know how this partnership, the partnership between Renegade Air, VIO, the State Department of Social Protection, and maybe county governments, how has it impacted volunteerism in the country?
Yeah, thanks. This partnership is coming in because volunteerism, number one, is social behavior. Number two, volunteerism, we are promoting volunteerism as a cross-cutting means of implementing development agenda for the country and globally, the Sustainable Development Goals. Then number three, we are looking at promoting volunteerism also as a pathway for youth employability. Volunteering for youth creates a ready youth for employment because the experience is found during this. But now, the partnership comes in because we have what is called corporate volunteering, which used to be called CSR and things like that. Most of the time, we are now looking at, if we combine volunteering and CSR from corporates, can we achieve much more than if corporates do their CSR alone and organizations do their volunteering alone? We realize that combination gives us more in terms of what we can achieve as a country. Even if we were to go into the community trying to work on youth employability, if the corporates bring their CSR support, and volunteer organizations bring their expertise and technical support, we can achieve more in that community than if each one of them works alone. So that is what brought the corporates, and it is not just Renegade Air. This partnership has Safaricom Foundation, Renegade Air, FedEx, and even the Cape Media, because they are bringing also a big, huge contribution tomorrow and thereafter to show what this can achieve for the communities out there. So the State Department is coming in because volunteerism is under their docket, and so they are charged by executive order to coordinate the social development going on in the country. So that is how the ministry comes in as the overall coordinator and government. Then corporates are coming with their CSR to show support for those who are volunteering from the community. So that is a combination of 3 different groups that can achieve so much. That is why I said volunteering as a social development, but also as a catalyst for achieving the development agenda.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned Cape Media as well.
Yes, Cape Media is a key partner in this.
I should have asked this at the very beginning, but what does Good Deeds Day mean to you as Tasmin from where you sit?
Good Deeds Day is a day to give back to the community, and what better way than to partner with an organization like VIO that is already involved within the region, not only within Kenya but across Africa. They already have set up
Consortium.
Yes, the consortium, and to us, Good Deeds Day, especially just before, like he said, just before the upcoming Lent and Easter period, what better way than to partner with them and give back to the community?
Meshach, since 2017, since Kenya joined, are we embracing it? You know, this is not something that Kenyans talk about. Like, say, if I tell a Kenyan that we have something like Good Deeds Day, you know, I'm sure most Kenyans don't even know when this day is celebrated.
Yes.
Tomorrow there is a drive, 4th April. There is something happening on the 6th. I was looking it up and I saw that this day should be on the 6th of April.
Yes.
Are we embracing it as Kenyans?
Yeah, so the global calendar says 6th of April. That is the global date. But every country can do their date within that period. So in Kenya as a team, we have 4 events across the country around that period. So the first one is tomorrow. The second event will be in Kisumu on 9th. Third event will be in Nairobi again on 19th. And then the 4th one will be in Mombasa on 26th. All of those are constituting our Good Deeds Day event this year. But the question is, have Kenyans embraced good deeds? Yes, Kenyans have embraced good deeds. In 2017, we started at KICC. In subsequent years, we were able to close. When we started at KICC, we realized that because KICC is fenced and has gates, so many people were looking at the T-shirts. I will show you a sample here after this. We're looking and asking, what is this? And we were able to answer a lot of questions. And it told us that Kenyans really want to be part, but because they were thinking inside KICC means it is a private event. So the following year, we opened it and we spoke to the county government of Nairobi and we blocked the city hallway, and so it became a public event. We blocked for the vehicles, but now people could flow in and out. And by now, Good Deeds Day in numbers is bigger than 2017 when we started. The footprints in 2017 were 5,000, but the footprints up to last year could be anything up to 20,000. But again, we are escalating it to other counties. When we started, we were only in Nairobi. But now we are having Kisumu. Our team in Kisumu are planning. Our team in Mombasa are planning. Nairobi is going on. Next year, we might bring 2 or 3 more other counties. Who knows, maybe 10 years later, the entire 47 counties will be celebrating Good Deeds Day when it comes to April.
Now, Tasmin, you see, Renegade Air operates in a very competitive environment. So how does a company in aviation just integrate the CSR into its operations?
That's actually a very good question. So for us, what we have done is that we're introducing a no plastic single-use policy on our aircrafts. So that means if you fly with Renegade Air, we're wanting to introduce maybe like a glass bottle, or where you get served in reusable containers as opposed to using plastic. The other initiative that we have is that every passenger that flies with Renegade Air, percentage of the ticket goes to CSR, which means that everyone on board our aircraft indirectly gives back to the community. Also, we have had a lot of tree planting initiatives. We also do monthly carbon emission calculations. With relation to the reports that we get on a monthly basis, we ensure that on a quarterly basis, we take an initiative whereby we're reducing our carbon footprint on the planet. And the best way is either planting trees or, like I said, reducing the use of plastics on our aircrafts.
Taking a look at some of the focus that you have for this year's Good Deeds Day, and one of the key outcomes that the impact that you intend to create is SDGs 3, 4, 10, and 13.
Yes.
Maybe you can break it down for us, the planned activities and how they align with these goals.
This year, and probably going forward, we moved the Good Deeds Day into the communities. Kitambo, like I said, we were in town at the City Hall Way and KICC, but now we are moving it right inside the community. We are focusing because, like I started earlier saying, we promote volunteerism as a catalyst to development agendas, achieving the development agenda. So we are an organization, or our member organizations seek to support government in their development agenda. The president spoke about 15 billion trees by 2030. So in Goal 13, we are talking about climate action. So the action of volunteers this year during the Good Deeds Day seeks to plant up to about 16,000 trees. That will be a contribution towards the 15 billion tree mark by 2030. So if we do more the following years, we could make a report in 2030 that out of 15 billion achieved for the country, volunteer community have achieved this in partnership with corporates like Cape Media, Renegade Air, Safaricom Foundation, and others. So that is one, Goal 13. Goal 10 is about equality. We are looking, the team in Kisumu are going to run a basic clinic for persons living with disability, for older persons and their caregivers. They are looking at caregivers because many times we forget about caregivers. We focus on persons living with disability or sometimes older persons because of their age and all. But we never at one point take a minute to imagine the burnout that the caregivers of these people or this community usually go through. So this is what is covering Goal 3 and 10, health and wellness. Then Goal 4, we were thinking about, because we are going to do the riparian spaces which the floods came and many families were moved out of those riparian, and those were homes of people, and those people had children. So because we are going to gather in a certain school in Mathare, we thought, how about we map out, because this is a community and they know each other, we map out some of the children who were removed, their families were removed, and see how we can do some uniforms just to contribute towards goal number 4 of SDGs, which is quality education. These uniforms were to be done by volunteers, people who have got skills and are doing good on that day. So they come bring their skills, but corporates like Renegade Air, Cape Media, Safaricom Foundation supports by giving the materials. So they bring their expertise to do the uniforms, but partners give them the equipment they need to do those uniforms. And then combined, we say we have done good. So we were thinking of 1,000 children, and we are thinking of 16,000 trees. And it is not a one-day event. This Friday, tomorrow, will be the launch. And then these youth groups, we have mapped about 50 youth groups in Nairobi along the river, working with Nairobi River Commission and the county government. We have mapped women and youth groups in Mombasa, about 15, Mtongwe, Likoni, and Jomvu. They are doing the seedlings, and then we are buying from them. So they also get economic benefit of doing this. So that means doing good becomes a good business. They did the seedlings, Renegade Air, your company, Cape Media, Safaricom Foundation, brought some resources, we bought from them, and then combined with our volunteers and them, we planted the trees, and then they are growing the trees after us, and we are supervising through our organizations existing in the community. So we have a sustainable way of doing tree growing, but community are also owning the project as their own because they also get some economic benefit.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very, very interesting, Meshach. Now, Tasnim, you know, we are talking so much about the youth and how they're going to be involved on the Good Deeds Day, starting tomorrow, of course, as you continue with your programs. But how can now businesses and volunteer organizations just encourage these youths and harness their participation on a day like this, a Good Deeds Day?
I think the work that already VIO is doing and their presence in the market, already has an impact on the youth. With relation to corporates' involvement, I think the nice thing would be to give them an incentive to join and be part of such a community and such work for our nation. I think the most important thing is some form of incentive, and maybe corporates can make sure that when you have create and fund volunteering youth volunteers and give them some sort of funding. And engage them from schools. So, you know, start interacting them at school level. And when you show them a presence through school and then build it up to university, the likelihood of them volunteering is much higher. Also, the other thing corporates can do is that when you're employing new staff, you have a look at what activities and what volunteering work they have done, and not only look at maybe what they have achieved in relation to grades, etc., but how they have given back to the community and utilize that to gauge on employment. Because if you have an employee that has already volunteered and selflessly given back, when you employ somebody like that, their output and their efficiency will be much better.
All right. Mombasa, Kisumu, Nairobi, why these counties? Is it because the cities? Why exactly are we focusing on the three big cities?
Yeah, thank you. Because we started in Nairobi, and during the period of COVID, we decided to also engage our team in Mombasa. The bigger reason is because VIO is a consortium and our member organizations are spread across the country. We realized that it is easy to organize the first major cities in the country because the distance within Nairobi is not the way if I was to organize Pokot County, for example, or Turkana, because one end of Turkana to another end of Turkana needs flying. You need to fly. But by then, we still didn't have Renegade Air. So going forward, we will be having the likes of Renegade Air flying around. We will be able to organize those. But we said, let's do the low-hanging fruits first. Organize Mombasa because it is geographically, it is easy to map out Mombasa easily, and Kisumu the same way. But like I said, That was all. Next year and the years coming, we also have other smaller events that are happening in other counties. We are only giving light on these three because these three are basically organized by us centrally. The others are organized by individual organizations. But for sure, Good Deeds Day is celebrated in other counties in Kenya. Only that the ones that we are organizing centrally here at the ministry are those three. Next year, we might bring another 2 or 3 counties.
Now, Meshach, how do you ensure the sustainability of the impact created during Goods Day deed, rather than it just being a one-day thing, a one-time thing, and it's done?
Yeah, that's why we moved out of the CBD celebrations and we went into the community because we're looking at the sustainability aspect of it. And so, for example, if we are going to do the tree planting and growing, and we mapped out about 50 youth groups around the rivers, these people live in those communities, so they are not going anywhere. And once we started working with them last year in developing the seedlings, and now we are going tomorrow to buy seedlings from them, they remain part of the money we are going to buy seedlings from them with, they are going to plow back into developing more seedlings, and the other money will help them at home with families. And that will give them more impetus to continue growing more and also look at the ones that have been growing. But to be sure that it is sustained, we have also given portions or some of these groups to our member organizations to work with them throughout the year. For example, in Mathare, the Billion Foundation will be working with 20 groups, stretching from Mabatini all the way to Mlango Kubwa. So the 20 groups are under the care of our member organization called Billion Foundation. In Korokocho, we have Balozi wa Amani organization, which is our member. We'll be working with the groups around the river in Korokocho. In Dandora, the same way, we have an organization that is based there. That is the only way we can sustain this. And because we are happy Cape Media is partnering with us on this, we will go back there next year or 6 months later and see how the riparian space along the river have done well. That's how we sustain the whole thing. And because we are doing this through volunteerism, it is more sure. If you do it outside volunteerism, it will be business. And that means young people will turn up on that day, you pay them, they plant, they go away, you go away, the trees die. But because every group has been given a portion of the river, even by the Nairobi River Commission, so that is their business every day. While they grow the ones you have planted, they also develop more seedlings because we are going out of the 11,000 trees we are going to plant in Nairobi, about 5,000 will be planted in schools. The seedlings will come from these youth groups along the river. So they will see it as a job because they do the seedlings, we buy with support from corporate and other partners. Then we take also to get the children in learning institutions, especially public schools, to also learn doing their seedbeds as also they do the planting in those schools. So where the one you plant in school are taken care of by the students who are learning there. The ones you plant on the river banks are taken care of by the youth groups who have been given those portions. So we are sure we can follow up and see it is not dead.
You're sure that it's sustainable, even after Good Deeds Day?
Yes.
Now, Tasmin, of course, as we close this conversation, you know, sometimes somebody is seated there at home and they're thinking, why should I leave my house to go and participate on the events of Good Deeds Day as much as it's volunteership? What would you tell them for somebody who's seated at home thinking about that?
I think in order to make a difference, you cannot do it. You cannot make a difference alone. You need a team or you need a group of people to come out and make a difference. For the person sitting at home, I think the initiative should be that when you step out and if you come across and plant with us tomorrow, you're not only giving back to the environment, but you have also done something for yourself. You have you get a chance to interact with other individuals and pick on maybe ideas, networking. There's so many other things that you can take away when you interact with somebody else.
Meshek, as we close this conversation, give us the itinerary for tomorrow and the days to come, and just convince them, because we will be there. We are Cape Media, we will be there. Convince them why they should leave their houses to go and plant trees, to just go and be there for these people with disabilities, and also just fulfill on these activities that you have set for these days.
Thank you. One, I met the youth groups, and some of them were telling me that they usually sell those seedlings to Giraffe Center and other people on the other side of town. But one thing I told them, which struck them, that when you go to Karen or the other side of the city, do you love the place? Then they all said, yes, we actually love the place because the trees and all that makes the beauty of that place. So I am like, Good Deeds Day is now trying to create for you your Karen here. So this is one of the major reasons why you should come out, take part in Good Deeds Day. If you look at the population of Mathare or the river, Nairobi River, stretching from Pangani all the way to Mwiki, if every single person would come out on the Good Deeds Day and plant 2 trees, and then these trees are fully grown 2 years later, we probably might have our own little Karen on this other side of town. So that is one reason why everybody should take just 1 minute. But we are also not taking a whole day. So we are not making Good Deeds Day a whole day for you out of your busy schedule or job. We are simply getting there at 8 a.m. We are having 1 hour to just do an introduction, get to know who and who is here. And then we are moving down the river, and then we start the planting. Because it is planting by midday, noon, maybe 12, at most 1, we should be out of the place because you can't do more planting when the sun is now strong up the sky. So it's as simple as that. But that will be a launch, like I said. After that, the following day and the days going forward, our member organizations will be organizing those youth groups to continue with planning, because I said the end game is to do 16,000, 5,000 mangroves in the ocean, in Mombasa, and 11,000 in Nairobi. Some will be done by schools. So the program is only being launched tomorrow, and then we are going back again there with another partner who is also going to support in a big way, FedEx. We are going back on 19th. After that, the Kisumu team will be meeting. They are mobilizing between 100 to 200 persons living with disability, caregivers, and older persons. Community health volunteers are coming to do screening, basic screening, and some referrals. But they are also going to run a clinic session on mental health and how the caregivers also should be taken care of as much as they are taking care of older people and persons living with disability. Then on 26th, we are in Mombasa restoring the mangroves, and we are going to do another 2 months. On that particular day, we intend to do 1,000 mangroves, but after that, the youth groups will be going on under supervision of our member organizations like Kenya Red Cross Mombasa branch, Kenya Red Cross Kisumu branch. Every county has got Red Cross branch and other member organizations from the VIO Society.
All right, thank you so much.
And finally, I would just want to wish everybody a beautiful Good Deeds Day globally. We are mobilizing about 15 million volunteers across the world on Good Deeds Day. and we will share the numbers once we have the records back.
Absolutely. So happy Good Deeds Day to you, Tasmin and Meshach.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow and
Yes.
the days to come. So that brings us to the end of this particular conversation. And you're hoping that Kenya will make it a holiday, you know?
Yeah, with time, we are working with the ministry around the policy. Once the policy is reviewed and the bill is taken to Parliament, we'll definitely find how to make this a beautiful holiday where we don't have speeches.
Beautiful.
We just have actions around beautiful actions
Yes.
to the community.
Amazing.
So can I give the T-shirts as
Maybe after.
Okay.
I don't think we have the time.
Okay.
So let's cross over to South. Oh, he can bring it. All right, later on, let's cross over to South Sea and take a look at the IEBC Commissioner's interview, which is currently ongoing.
Platform. So in other
Repeat
words,
that because we want the public to understand.
Yes.
One is web-based and